Warren Buffett once said, the more you learn, the more you earn. And I remember years ago being absolutely blown away the first time I heard what he does in his daily routine. Him and his business partner who run Berkshire Hathaway and are definitely considered to be some of the most successful investors ever. And these guys read for about 8 hours per day. Now let's think about this for a second. The average American doesn't even read one book a day. We're averaging as a country. Not a day. I apologize. A year. The average American doesn't even read one book per year. So we're averaging less than one book. So when we stop and we think about that, that means that we are doing a horrible job of continuing to learn. They say a lot of people, even those who go to college and educate themselves, they never pick up a book again. They learn in college and they're forced to read, and people often have a negative connotation with reading and learning because we're forced to do it for so many years throughout school. But then you look at the really successful people and you see, wow, they read a hell of a lot more than the average person. So, you consider reading 8 hours a day, obviously depending on the book, but that's probably reading through a book, every 1 or 2 days. Like now he's not just reading books, he's reading newspapers and articles and a whole bunch of different things. It's not just one book that he's reading, but so it doesn't end up working out that way. But if he did just read one book for 8 hours, that would pretty much be, getting through a book. So, and probably even a couple books in a day, depending on how thick it was. So really, I just want you to really take that in for a second and then match it up to your own life. You see, everybody wants to live a life of fulfillment. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to find love. Everybody wants to be wealthy and be in good health. Everybody wants these things. But the reason everybody doesn't get them is because very few people are actually willing to do what it takes in order to get them. There's nothing more exciting to me than working with a group home client who, they come in, they're hungry, they're to learn, and they're not just talking. Like a lot of people will say, hey, I'd love to make $10,000, an extra $10,000 a month. Well, who wouldn't want to make an extra $10,000 a month? I don't think there's anybody who would be mad adding $10,000 a month to their income. But the question is, what are you willing to actually do in order to get that? And I think a huge starting point is learning. Learning. You got to learn. You got to learn. You got to constantly seek the knowledge. Be all over trying to find all the information that you possibly can. Buy the books. Buy the courses. Buy things that are going to support that learning. Because what you end up finding out very quickly is that the more you invest in yourself, and that money is always going to come back to you in some form. You see, and that's the difference between the investor mindset and just the average consumer. The average consumer, we get paid, and you have to decide what you're going to do with that money. That's going to make the difference between the type of levels of success that you're going to reach. Now, do you get paid and immediately think, okay, what can I buy? You spend your money on your bills, and then you spend it on fast food, and you spend it on consume. You spend it on getting things, and a lot of it's things that are going to make you feel better temporarily. But then the investor comes in and they say, okay, I spend the money on my bills, because everybody does have bills, and then you know what? I'm going to take this money. I'm going to go to that conference that I've always wanted to go to. I'm going to spend $1,000 on that, because if I spend $1,000 on that conference, I will meet probably 6 or 7 people that can end up bringing me an extra $500 a month in business every single month. So it would take 2 months to end up recovering those costs, right? And like obviously the simplified version, depending on the industry and the person, that can end up being way more than $500. But the purpose is they're not looking at it as a cost. That's it. Going to a conference is an investment. Buying a $15 book is an investment. That is not a cost. So, it's getting those things in line. But I think, you know, one thing that helped me a lot, I always consider myself to not necessarily be a numbers person. And once I met my mentor who started to teach me about real estate and the group home industry specifically, I realized like I need to get way more knowledgeable with my numbers. I needed to study money. I needed to be a money expert. I needed to know how investing worked, whether it was stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you know, high interest savings accounts. It didn't matter what it was. I wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to know about personal finance. I wanted to know about clearing debt. I wanted to know about real estate. I wanted to know about it all. And I just studied it and studied it and studied it. And like Warren Buffett said, I just kept learning and learning and learning. And as I learned more, I was able to earn more. The things are so highly correlated, but we often don't even give it a chance. So that's what I want you to do. If you're listening to this now, you obviously are a learner. You want to get better. You want to improve. You want to change your life. So start making those small, tiny differences. Start every day. Read for 10 minutes. Stop always blaming being busy. 10 minutes, that's all you have to start with. 10 minutes a day, read. And in 10 minutes, you'll see that will turn to 20. Before you know it, you'll be reading for an hour a day. I never thought, I'm up to reading about 3 hours a day. I never thought I'd get to this point. I always thought, no, there's no way you can read that long, But you make time. And once you realize the benefit of doing so, you realize that it's not just about working hard. There's lots of people that work hard. There's lots of people out there who clock in day out. They give everything they have for years, for 20 years, 30 years, and they never get ahead. So there's more to it than just working hard. Working hard is a tool, but it's not the goal. A lot of people think working hard is the goal. Your goal in life is to only work hard. No, you do have to work hard. And I'm not saying that running a successful group home is going to be easy. You're going to have to work hard. But the goal is not hard work. The goal is passive income. The goal is freedom. The goal is getting out of the tyranny of living bill to bill. Those are the goals. And to do that, you need to learn. You need to have an expanded mind to where you currently